guys, welcome to my channel, doing another Confessions of a Paper Addict Cutfiles design team layout for you this beautiful January. I have the new Cutfile puzzled. I have cut it out in black, and I have this photo of my husband holding his dad's hand the night he died. So kind of sad, but wanting to make sure I capture it. I have a really good idea for a title. What I want to do also is I want to go ahead and cut out, I'm going to go ahead and on my silhouette, cut all these pieces again, but have them slightly smaller in pattern paper. So you get the black outline is what I was thinking I would do. I haven't decided yet, but I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead back to my silhouette, pick out a pattern paper or a collection or something to work with. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to work with. And put that on here. I could, anywho, I just started searching. So I got to figure out what collection I want to do this photo with. So let me go dig through my stash, figure out what I want to play with, and then if I decide, yeah, that is what I want to do. But I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go on my Silhouette software and create an offset and just make all the inner pieces just slightly smaller. So they're all going to cut the same size, just slightly smaller, so that I can literally just like mat them on these pieces. So I'll be right back to show you, but let's get started. All right, so I ended up, there's the finished puzzle pieces, and I love the way they turned out. The layout, however, I'm torn. I think it's because I put a lot of pressure on myself to make this layout just perfect because of the subject matter. And it honestly turns out good. It's just, I think I'm overthinking it, honestly. I think that's what's happening. Anywho, so I'm decided to grab the paper that I cut it out on is a paper. It's a Lily Bee Designs paper. It's a paper that was in the little all the stuff that I'm playing with for my Product Focus Friday for January. And I really liked the blue and the fact that there was like a soft floral and it wasn't screaming girly. And my father-in-law was known for his baby blues. Like he had some really ice blue eyes. And so I figured blue would be good. And my thought was to make this look like part of the puzzles together and the rest of it, the pieces are just kind of down. And what's fun is we as a family like to do puzzles a lot together. There was always like a puzzle going at their house. And so that was another reason I wanted to do this. So I grabbed that paper, and then otherwise I'm going to kind of dig in my How to Kill a Cat with Style kit for this month. So I grabbed this black and white paper that is from Pink Paisley's Fifth and Monaco, and then I'm grabbing, I'm just going to glue this part of the cut file down, so the outline of the puzzle piece down, because I'm going to do some mixed media underneath, so that way where you see the puzzle pieces that are askew or not in line, there's going to be some more color underneath there. And so I'm going to just play with some Distress Oxides and kind of get that blue, do some blues and like turquoisey teal. And then I end up deciding on a pop of yellow as well. So I'm just going to do packaging technique. There's no gesso or anything on this. This is actually one of those white pieces of paper. I bought a Heidi Swapp Storyline Chapters book, like the big albums that she had in the beginning. I don't know if she's made big albums, 12 by 12 albums, but they always came with like this really good cardstock like page insert. And so on one side there's like a black strip and like a spot where you can do details, and then so it's almost like her Storyline Chapters books, the smaller ones now, but it was just inserts, and so it's like you could just scrapbook right on there. Was her, I think, her goal or her plan to make memory keeping very easy. But I pull them out, and a lot of times I will use the back side. I will cut files out of them a lot, actually, because most of the time you only use one side, and they are really, like, they're really good. Like, it's actually kind of a good cardstock. It's better than the cheapy white stuff that I buy at Joann's, which is funny. So I'm just doing packaging technique, and I'm just drying between the layers so that I get little touches of the other blues and everything. So I'm using pine needles, and I will use prize ribbon and peacock feathers just to get a little bit of depth, a little bit of change in color. And then I decide, since I am using my How to Kill a Kit with Style, I am going to bring in the Prima flowers, and my goal is to bring in just the blue ones, which are much more very blue. So that's another reason I want to bring in some of that prize ribbon, because they're very, very blue. And then there's like a touch of like a creamy yellow on a lot of them. So I do bring in fossilized amber too, and just do a touch of it. And it's just enough to like bring a little bit of extra to the background and make sure there's just a little more color and it's not necessarily monochromatic, which would be fine. I am a huge fan of monochromatic layouts or very one-toned layouts, but I wanted a little depth and everything. So this is where I think this part turns out real, and then I'm going to pop all the pieces up on foam except for like 2 or 3 that are going to like hang off the edge. And then when I put it back together, I think is where maybe I got lost, or I just kept going and going and going. And then I was having a hard time trying to figure out where the heck I was going to put my title. So luckily I have amazing scrubby friends, and I reached out to Daisy this time, and she helped me figure out where to put my title, and that it would be okay to like split my title up. So I didn't feel like I had to put the whole thing in the one area, which is really nice. And, I like the way it turned out, except for I make a stamping error at the end, and you're going to see that, and I do fix it. It ends up messier, but so I think that's also frustrating, is that I feel like I screwed up on this layout, and I feel like there's more pressure on it because of that, because of the subject. But I still love it. It still kind of reads the way I wanted it to. A puzzle, just not quite together. It's getting very deep, sorry. A puzzle just not quite together, and a piece will always be missing, so it doesn't seem like things fit, which I should have just thrown out one of the pieces and not glued it on the paper now that I think about it. But so yeah, so the title ends up being A Piece of My Heart Will Always Be With You. And like I said, this was the night that my father-in-law died, and my husband was holding his hand, and we took a good picture of it. So yeah. I'm going to mat my photo on like 4 papers from the LA Studio 6x8 paper pad that I have in my kit, and just focus on the grays and the black and whites and the blues. And now I've got all those puzzles glued down, and so those 2 are the only 2 that don't get popped up on foam. And I did that stamping too with that Hero Art stamp. It was on I got it on sale at Joann's. I love like going to Joann's sometimes and finding just random cool stamps, and that bold print cling stamp is awesome. It just looks like a book or a newspaper, like just words. And so I added that a little bit in the pine needles in the background as well. But yeah, so I'm liking this. I'm going to put my photo there. I cut out one of those labels, and then I'm just going to start layering some of the beautiful blue florals and the stems and the leaves, and then I'm going to grab all the pale blue enamel dots and sprinkle those around as well. And then I grab out 3 acrylic hearts that were with the LA Studio collection, or that order that I placed, and add those as well in some of the clusters. And then, so after I decide what my title, how my title is going to go, I will go in my stash and find like a pale blue doily and place that in kind of like off center to the left, but the photo is like to the right. So it, like Daisy had suggested to put it there, and it totally makes sense because it kind of balances out with the photo, with the busyness of everything going on. And so A Piece of My Heart will, I cut that out in the font and everything that I wanted. I have a detailed kind of video about how I went about that and figuring it out with my Silhouette software in my membership, if you guys would ever be interested in that. And remember, it's one of those things, like if you're ever interested and you want to go binge watch a bunch of stuff on my membership, it's 99 cents, and then you can you can cancel your membership after a month. Just don't forget to cancel if you don't want to do it. But if you ever want to check it out, let me know. But I like how I tucked all the flowers. I like the way the floral clusters all end up turning out. And then, yeah, that doily will go kind of in the center there where I have those 2 pieces kind of overlapping, where it gets a little busy. So, which is good too, because then it kind of gives your eye a place to rest, because all of a sudden it's like a solid area. But I cut A Piece of My Heart out on my Silhouette because I figured out fonts, and I wanted like a 2 font title for that part. And so it just says a piece of my heart, which is good on its own. But then on that label that I actually stuck on the photo, I will stamp will always be with you. I'm using my Heidi Swap. She's got like a storyline stamp set that I ordered just this last time. And those tiny, tiny letters, and they fit like perfectly in those lines. And I screwed up and I stamped will always be with me for some reason. And so I end up just gessoing over me and restamping you after this. But then I'm just going to go ahead and do some splatters with some night moves. Or no, shades of gray actually. So a little bit of gray. And there was a big blob of must have been like stuff just sitting in the straw. It came out. Blah. Anywho. So yeah. So it turned out good. I like it. And I appreciate my scrappy friends like Daisy for helping me out when I just message them and go, help. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you check out the Confessions of a Paper Addict Facebook group for the freebie, the beautiful star cut file. You can buy it in the shop already, but you can only get it free until the end of the month. Thank you so much for watching me, and I will see you next time. Bye.